also known as Bud Hasselhoff, also known as Gordy Boitano.
Gordy Boitano.
There's more, read on.
In Slavic societies, the name Veles was synonymous with the devil. From the Lithuanian root vele, a horned demon who sucks the souls of the innocent. Mulder, you're not suggesting that he is himself a devil, are you?
I'm not suggesting anything. I think the facts speak for themselves.
Hello and welcome to Most Unwanted, an X-Files podcast. I'm Luke, and joining me through the magic of Skype is...
You waiting for me?
Yeah.
It's Dan. My name's Dan. I'm Dan.
So as you can hear, it's another Skype episode this week.
We're not sponsored by Skype. Like, there are other video calling apps available.
But we use Skype, so let's just call it as it is.
Yeah, to be fair, fuck him. Skype's the best.
No, we basically it was kind of behind the scenes stuff. It's kind of one of those busy weeks where we didn't have time to record a big block, so we thought we'd just get one recorded, so there's not like a break in there in the week. So so we were just doing it on Skype.
It is one of the good things to come out of the pandemic, this sort of like idea that I think everyone now is sort of coming to the realization that, work can be done remotely. You don't need to be in the office. You don't need to be in each other's houses. Like, and if that sort of situation does arise, it's not the end of the world. You can just sort of like jump online, which is, the pandemic hasn't brought out many good things, but it's one of them.
Yeah. Which has changed my job permanently, as I'm on permanent work from home now. So yeah, it's completely changed. But yeah. So it's it is a benefit. Yeah, it's nice to get back and actually speak to people. But there is a handy convenience of I can't do it today. Shall we just do it like this? So yeah. But anyway,
we haven't really spoke about it, like not that much anyway on the podcast since we came back for this season, but the difference it makes being in person is just unreal.
Oh yeah, definitely. Yeah, is it even like just what we said, where it's you have to be sort of leave a bit of a pause so people can like reply, otherwise you're talking over each other. But I mean, other than that, how's your week been since we last or a few weeks since we last recorded?
It's been all right. It's been a bit of a quiet one. I needed that sort of. I mentioned, I think it might have been a few episodes ago now, I mentioned I needed a little bit of a break. I was very busy, like, every single day. And then this week, I've finally got my wish, and I've been a bit bored, to be honest.
It's always the way.
So, yeah, it's been good, but it's been quiet. I've not really got much to report today. How about yourself?
Yeah, it's similar kind of thing. It's sort of that, like, calm down now of trying to do everything. Funnily enough, it's the calm down now before the next few months, which are really, really busy for me. So it's nice to just have a few weeks off. So yeah, it's good. Good to just chill out every now and again. But it means these intros are short, unfortunately, or fortunately.
What are you going to do? You know what I mean? Yeah, it's part and parcel of it. If you want the realness of this podcast. Unfortunately, sometimes the hosts don't do anything.
Yeah. I wish we did lead more extravagant, jet-setting lives, but we don't. Unfortunately.
I went to karaoke a few weeks ago.
Oh, did you? That's quite exciting, really. You didn't.
Yeah, it was fun. I don't think I was drunk enough.
Yeah.
I was very aware of every note that I got wrong.
Yeah, you kind of have to enter karaoke either with an attitude of not caring initially, or you've had enough to drink, or whatever you do to sort of get you to that position. Otherwise, you become very self-conscious.
Yeah, and I'm also one of these people that I don't like to cheat. And what I believe cheating involves in karaoke is there's two things. One, if you're a good singer, get out.
Yeah.
Get out. Not interested. I'm not coming here to see a show. Do you know what I mean? Like, I'm coming here to have fun. Get out if you're a good singer. And number two, if you're not a good singer, don't choose an easy song. Like, you got to go for it. Choose the ones with, like, the sort of the long high notes. That's because I want to hear people try and do it. Do you know what I mean? Like, I can't sing, not very well. I can sort of hold a tune, but not really. Doesn't stop me going for like the really tough songs. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah. What's your staple? Your karaoke staple?
I'm big into a bit of Elvis.
Yeah.
And I love a good musical number. I love a good musical. Yeah. What about you?
Duets. I always think they're always quite kind of fun.
Yeah,
Like
duets are.
You find like a duet song, something like Grease or something like that, which is, it's just easy, I suppose. Not easy, but you know what I mean? It's just like fun. I think when you do it,
everyone knows the words, everyone sings along. You know?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, but no, it's I've missed that. That was literally the last thing we did before lockdown. 2020 was it? God, I keep forgetting the year.
Yeah.
That was.
We've got it again in a few weeks for a friend's birthday.
Oh, yeah, I forgot. We're doing karaoke for that, yeah. Should be fun. But anyway, that's enough about our lives. Let's find out about the life of a demon. So this week we are tackling episode 7 of series 6, titled Terms of Endearment. This was directed by Rob Bowman, written by David Amann. And the original air date was January the 3rd, 1999. We're getting close to those 2000s now.
So, I don't know why I'm excited to get to the 2000s, but it's not going to change. I don't know why I'm excited.
No. Do you know what, though? I have noticed, like, with watching this episode and seeing, like, the sort of year that it was produced, it kind of feels more, not in like, the tone, but in, like, the way it's sort of presented. It feels like a Buffy kind of show now. Do you know what I mean?
Oh my god! Yeah, this is the problem. People are going to start to think that we plan what we're going to say. That's so annoying because this is basically my whole shtick for this episode.
Yeah,
this is a Buffy episode. You were spot on. It's a Buffy episode.
It felt kind of like a Buffy episode because of like the tone of it and how it is literally just a monster of the week. And I know that's like a trope of X-Files as well. They probably did it before Buffy, I would imagine. But it did. The tone of it definitely felt like a Buffy episode. I think kind of helped by the guest star, for be honest.
It's, you know what it is? It's that sort of, what's hiding in your sweet suburban neighborhood?
Yes, yeah.
That, it's that sort of vibe, and it's the tongue in cheek of it all as well. I'm so annoyed you got there first. You didn't give me a chance. You literally opened the episode with. This episode, and by the way, I thought very Buffy. That's not fair.
Well, you gotta
give me a chance.
You gotta host the episode next time. That's not my problem. Well, we'll get into it because it is I reckon we'll probably get through this one fairly quick because it is fairly straightforward of an episode. I thought. Yeah. So we start in Hollins, Virginia, and we meet Wayne Weinsteeder and his pregnant wife Laura. Now, straight from the off. I was like, I know that chin anywhere.
I don't know this guy. Who is this guy?
It's Bruce Campbell from Evil Dead fame. You might know him better. You've recently watched it. You mentioned it. Spider-Man. Do you know the ring announcer when Spider-Man's been a wrestler?
Oh yeah, that's him.
Yeah,
I remember him now.
He's quite a big sort of like he's always in Sam Raimi stuff. You know what I mean? Like he's always in it's quite interesting because throughout this. He's playing a demon man. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Quite an out there role. For Bruce Campbell, this is quite subtle. I was like watching it, I was like, this is quite a subdued role for Bruce Campbell. He's usually the over-the-top, like, cheesy lying, like, kind of person. So yeah, it's weird seeing him in what essentially is quite a human role, which is weird to say. But yeah, so we meet these two and they're having an ultrasound for their baby. And they realise that their baby's got some kind of like abnormalities to it. It looks like it has horns, telegraphing exactly what's going to be happening throughout the episode. But yeah,
they do kind of they do try and keep it a little bit subtle here. Like they don't give it away straight away because they say like a bone abnormality in its sort of spine and its skull. Don't they? They never specifically say skulls in this one. And also noticeable, you don't get to see the ultrasound. Yeah. So I do think they did a fairly decent job of like winking at it, but not like explicitly saying horns.
I did think this beginning was quite interesting because it felt very un-X-Files. if you know what I mean. Like, until the obvious moment of when it becomes an X-File, you kind of like...
Yeah, I kind of thought it felt a little bit like Buffy, if I can be so out there.
Oh, keep those mad cat thoughts to yourself. But yeah, like, I imagine if you were just flicking through the channels or something like that, and you didn't know this was X-Files, you'd be like, what's this, this, like, program about, like, you know, a couple and their baby? And, and then hard cut to Demon pulling it out of the womb later, but... yeah, so anyway, so they hear this news. Wayne, specifically, is quite distraught about this. And so they go home. He tries to... He kind of like... what's the word? Basically tries to calm down his wife, I guess, and say it's going to be okay. Yeah. He makes her a drink, and they go to sleep. During the middle of the night, Laura has this dream of a demon creature just at the end of the bed. She sort of screams, wakes up. He's like pulling the baby out of her, essentially, this demon-looking baby. And she bites him, which I thought was an interesting move. Just literally just goes up to him and bites him, which is obvious for later on, it's to sort of add to the story later on. But I just thought it was weird that she just bit a demon.
It wouldn't be my first choice.
No. I mean, I'd like punch it or kick it or something like that. I don't know if I'd go for the... You don't know. I don't know what demons are made of, you know what I mean?
Yeah, that's a good point. It could be, like, poisonous. I don't know.
And like traditionally, like, from sulfur wastes and stuff like that. You're going to burn them out. I don't know. But anyway...
This dream sequence, I think I audibly let out a, oh no.
It did look, I mean, I like the effects of the fire, because that would all looked like, this practical sort of like fire effect. I was like, that's cool. The suit, it did look a bit hokey.
It was very camp, I thought. Very quirky. And it's just a little bit like, I can't really describe it. I will say that I don't think it was as bad as I first thought it was going to be.
Yeah.
Actually, in fact, the episode was fine. I didn't have a problem with the episode. It wasn't the best episode. But to be thrown straight into it like this, like, my immediate thought was, oh, this is going to be one of their episodes.
Yeah, I think anytime you see a man in a suit and the suit doesn't look amazing, you kind of go, ooh, what's this going to be like? You know what I mean?
Yeah, ooh is the best way to describe it.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Yeah. It's because you just have worries of what it's going to be. It's weird that it was so campy, this was, because the actual episode itself, not at all. You didn't get that tone whatsoever. But anyway, so this happens, then we get into the intro. We then see...
Just sorry to interrupt. Do you reckon that's the sound that people make when they turn on our podcast?
Ooh. Don't know about this.
For the tangent.
Yeah. Ooh. Don't know about these accents, what they? Maybe, yeah.
Oh.
We sell ourselves too short a lot of the time, don't we?
I think we sell ourselves a little bit more than we deserve.
Maybe. Anyway, after this we get the intro and whatnot, and then we go to see Laura's brother, the deputy sheriff, Archie Stevens, and he's basically talking to Agent Spender about what's happened or what we've just seen, and he's saying that the X-Files will be the best people to see to it. Spender is he's listening to him. He's like acknowledging everything he's saying. He's being supportive, and he's like, we'll put it to the top of the queue. We're going to look at this straight away. As soon as his back is turned, he dumps it straight in the shred.
Yeah, and I think this is a good scene, actually. It's kind of just sort of goes under the radar. We know that Spender doesn't have any affinity for the X-Files. I think he's pretty much said as much in previous episodes.
Basically, yeah.
But this is the first time that we fully see proof that, like, he is actively working against what the department should be doing.
Yeah.
So not only is he like, I don't care for this, blah, 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 he's actively trying to destroy it. Like, he's just not doing the job, which is very interesting.
Yeah.
Because I want to know what that looks like, and, like, is the X-Files, is he trying to sort of take down the X-Files from within so it's not a department anymore, or what is his job, just to sit there now? Like, I'm interested to see where that goes.
Yeah, I'd like to play devil's advocate here, and we obviously know that Spender in this situation is being a dick. You know what I mean? He's treading an obvious case because we've just seen the intro. But if somebody came to you and said that my sister's had a miscarriage, we think that it was some demon because she had a dream about a demon, naturally you're going to think, this is probably just a miscarriage and this guy wants it to be something more special than it actually is. You know what I mean?
Agreed, but that's his job.
It is his job,
His job is to look into that sort of stuff. So
not just dismiss it straight away.
Yeah, and then we it's a tough one because we do go into that sort of area, which we've had this debate so many times of, well, what qualifies an X-File? How do you know? Because how many times have we said we want to see the sort of the in-between episode scenes where it's Mulder and Scully travelling halfway across the world, and it's just someone who's had a dream. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, so maybe he's being more like judicial about like how to.
Yeah, maybe he's doing the job better.
Maybe. Yeah, I mean, I'd like to clarify. I think Spender's a dick still. But anyway,
Spender has got. Sorry to interrupt one more time. Spender has got a really great deadpan sort of like. He's like hiding his emotions, but at the same time, the audience knows exactly what he's thinking.
Yeah,
do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
He's got that sort of great facial expression.
He has quite a hateable face as well. You know what I mean? Like it's
you kind of want to slug him.
Is that from Anchorman?
Don't give my magic away, Luke. That's half my shtick.
Sorry, the penny dropped as you were saying. I was like, this is from something. We then see somebody who is definitely not shredding these cases. He's the anti-shredder in this situation. Is Fox Mulder, who is he basically got it out of the rubbish and pieced the case back together, which. Yeah. Man, that must take some work, like, because imagine all the other shreddings in there, and he's going to have, like, he's determined, this Mulder he's got a future. So yeah, he travels to Virginia, and this is where, just a little peek behind the curtain, we sometimes use the synopsis from Wikipedia and whatnot to sort of re-remember the plot after we've sort of watched it or whatnot and help compile our notes, because sometimes you'll be like, oh, I missed that bit or I didn't get that anyway. This is where you have to sort of double check it because it was radically wrong. A lot of the synopsis in this, it was saying that like Scully was actually there, and I was like, no, she wasn't. She doesn't turn up until like 2/3 of the way through the episode. So, like, I don't understand where this person was getting this. It was like saying she did all the interviewing and stuff, and I was like, what? No?
It's almost like Wikipedia isn't quality checked.
That is true, yeah.
It's almost like anyone can post anything on there, isn't it?
There's a lesson for anyone out there.
Like, sometimes, like, when I'm sort of putting my notes together, I will check it against like different like synopsis or like notes online of like different things just to sort of basically see whether I've got things in the right order. And sometimes it proper throws me through a loop because sometimes I'll look at it and I'm like, did I watch the same episode? Like, this is wildly different, and usually it's more just like it's just in a different order or something like that. So the way I've thrown it. Written, should I say, but it can be a little bit of a nightmare.
Yeah. But yeah, anyway, so Scully is not there. That is critical for the plot. Mulder goes to interview the couple about what had happened, and I won't go through the details, but basically he finds something off about Wayne from the outset. He's not sold by his demeanour or something like that. There's something off with him. Mulder more sort of sees. So he calls Scully and reports what he's sort of encountered. She's quite annoyed, understandably, because she's back in the FBI interviewing just some nobody, essentially, about marijuana. Real like shit work for somebody who's been investigating the aliens and shit like that. Yeah, to be then ladled with this rubbish. And especially when you get a call from your partner who should be there with you, who's like, I'm in Virginia. So yeah, she's doing all this, and she's quite annoyed that he's just decided to leave. But he sort of explains all what he thinks.
We are supposed to be doing background checks, not chasing X-Files.
Look, Scully, Spender just round-filed this case. It's unconscionable.
And what do you call rooting through his trash?
Well, like that's any different from the assignment we're stuck with.
We, Mulder? I'm stuck with. You're not here.
Scully, this is a classic case of demon fetal harvest. What they called in the Middle Ages atom nocturnum, the impregnation of an unwitting woman by a dark lord of the underworld.
Which is quite a line from Mulder. And we also note that Wayne overhears this on the baby monitor when Mulder goes to talk to Scully about it.
Yeah, I think this is a good point to mention that throughout this episode, I thought they made a conscious effort to sort of keep the ending hidden, or sort of a little bit of a sort of a twist, if you like. I don't think they did it that well. So you sort of start to suspect this guy with Mulder, and then he does. He tries to sort of twist it so that he's like the good guy, and he was there for that. I don't think you ever, as an audience, and this is just my opinion, I don't think you ever really stop suspecting this guy. Like, it just comes across as he's the villain right from the start. So I don't know whether they're intentionally trying to sort of throw you off the scent, but I don't think it really worked.
No, I don't think you're ever meant to feel like he's not the villain, but I do think they make a good effort at trying to make you think he's not a bad person, if you know what I mean.
Yeah,
he's doing bad things, but he's doing it like not for the right reason, but he has a reason, you know what I mean? Like, it's not just because he's evil. The next scene sort of cements that for me, or like it definitely starts laying the groundwork for it anyway. Because later that night we see Wayne out in the middle of the night next to a furnace, which the dodgiest look you could ever have.
Yeah.
And he's basically burning this baby, essentially, this like baby's body. And this is where Laura finds him, and she asks him what he's doing, and he just says, "Oh, I'm just burning leaves." At whatever time at night, yeah. But she leaves. I did like in this part, and there's a few moments like this throughout the episode. I think it's Rob Bowman that was the director, wasn't it? He does some good shots where it's as she's walking towards the furnace, it's just there on its own in the middle of the field, just burning. So it's like all this darkness, and then there's just the fire in the middle. I thought that was like sort of an interesting sort of way to lay out the scene.
Yeah.
But yeah, as she leaves, we see sort of Wayne like sort of standing over this, crying. So it shows that there's something more to him here than just he's an evil demon. You know what I mean? Like
it's malevolent, is he?
Yeah, there's something else. There's at least some wrinkle to this story, if you know what I mean.
I also did like in the when all like the sort of police around and Mulder, and it might be the next day. I can't quite remember which specific scene it was, but in general, through this episode, Mulder is sure about this guy, and you have to be sure because he's literally antagonizing a guy that's just lost his child, like without any proof. And he literally says in this episode, "The lack of proof is all the proof I need." And I'm just like, okay, Mulder, but if you're wrong, like,
yeah, you're getting sued to shit.
He literally looks at for what he knows is a dad that's just lost his child, and turns around, "I know what you are."
Yeah.
Jesus, Mulder, come on. You don't know for sure. Let's just be careful.
When have we ever known? Again, this is, as we've always said, Mulder has no tact in social situations. He doesn't care that this man may have just lost a child. He's just thinking, demon.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
But again, let's get back to what we said earlier. The cases between the episodes. And he said this is a classic demon, fetus, whatever, he said. Right? How many of these has he done? I want to see the episode where he goes to a couple that have sadly had a miscarriage, and he chews the guy out, and then hard cuts back to where Skinner was there, and Skinner going, "What the hell was you doing?"
Yeah, you are an idiot.
And that poor couple did not need you there at that time, just screaming about demons.
There's many stories that we don't see that might paint him in a bit more of a worse light. So then we see the next day Mulder's asleep in his car, and Scully gives him a call and basically says that their kid did have bone deformities, as we saw when they went to the doctors, and that they also found blood in her blood was mandrake, which is known to induce labours. So they think that there's definitely something untoward. There's some kind of like illegal, kind of like abortion or something like that has happened.
Yeah, Scully deeply suspects the woman, thinking that because in Virginia abortion is illegal after so many weeks.
Yeah,
and so it sounds like this is like, if this evidence came to her normally, she would assume that it would be like a false abortion, if you like.
Yeah. And we also see Wayne leaving another house. He leaves and goes to another house, and this is where we learn that he has another wife. This is Betsy Monroe, who is also pregnant. The police arrive at Laura's house, or Wayne's other house, I guess. I don't know who the owner is, but anyway, he goes to the other house, and they basically want to do a search of the gardens, or basically want to do a search of the house to find any evidence. And this is where Wayne turns up, and Mulder says again something to him like, she said you'd hate like the devil if you wouldn't find anything. Again, just like, man, Mulder.
He must be sure.
Yeah,
he must be sure. You know what I mean?
He's seen something that we definitely haven't at this. Well, I mean, we definitely have. We've seen that there's a demon, but
the thing is, we've seen that he is actually a demon, and even still wear caution on saying stuff like that. To a guy who just lost a child.
Yeah. There's still a bit of like, you've got to have some level of tact. But anyway, not Mulder. So as they go, as the police all go investigating the garden, Wayne then confesses that he was destroying evidence out in the garden. But he also says that basically that Laura was in this like trance-like state in the night, and he convinces her that she'd actually aborted the baby and that he was covering it up for her. And this sort of makes her think that she needs to turn herself in, basically. Which, when they find this, the remains of this baby in the furnace, that's what she does. She basically comes clean that, this dream that she'd had and whatever. So this is where she gets arrested and taken in.
Yeah.
We see Wayne driving somewhere in this like fancy red car. I didn't catch what the car was.
No, I didn't know. I'm not too great with cars. It very much reminds me of like the cars you get with like Barbies and Kens.
Yeah, like that, like classic. Convertible.
Very much so.
He's blasting Garbage as well, which was a nice little. I was like, oh, it's the 90s. And Mulder is giving him chase, asking him where he's going at high speeds, which I don't know if this is okay. And Wayne at the time was on the phone to this other woman, this Betsy, and he sort of convinces Mulder he's not talking to her, that he's actually talking to one of his clients because he's an insurance salesman. So they actually go and visit a woman who is a client, and he sort of makes up this crap that he needs to do some tests on her for their insurance. He sees that she has kids, and he gets a bit weirdly obsessive about the kids. Not in like it's just weird in like he likes kids, and like he has this kind of, well, basically we find out that he really wants kids, and that's all he's ever wanted.
Basically, yeah, not demon kids.
Yeah. And we also see these weird lumps on the back of his neck. They don't really explain what this is, but I put this down to he's a demon. So
yeah.
This is where Mulder gets a call from Scully, and basically finds out that Wayne has put in a complaint that he's been harassed, which has gone to Kirsch, and Kirsch has hit the roof, understandably, as his agent is in Virginia. So Scully sort of offers to cover for him and basically say that he's investigating somebody, or he's doing a background check on someone. Which, if I was Kirsch, I don't know. I feel like this excuse wouldn't fly. I'd be like, the amount of times he's pulled stuff like this.
Yeah, it's one warning too many, isn't it?
Yeah. And it's making me think, like, if we were doing mid-season predictions, when's he going to get the sack?
Yeah. I mean, are you surprised that the X-Files aren't back? Or not back. That Mulder and Scully aren't back yet. I thought it would be sooner than this, and I'm wondering now whether they go back this season.
Yeah, I think because this is like episode 7 now, so they've been out of it for 7 episodes. It's kind of making me think that something else is going to happen, that they're not going back. That maybe maybe Mulder's going to get fired, and like I don't know, something else happens. I'm not sure.
It'd be interesting to see, but yeah, I'm very surprised. I assumed they'd be back by like episode 4.
yeah, but not the case. So yeah, later on we see that Wayne has now gone to visit Laura in jail, and she's a bit suspicious of Wayne, and sort of is asking him questions about that night, and she's a bit unsure about what she's actually confessed to at this point. And he leans in for a hug, and the first thing she does is check his neck of where she bit the demon, and she notices that he has a sort of a bite mark, and this is where he realizes the jig's up for him. So he sucks out a soul. I always think of, is there a way to transition to this? No, let's just say it as it is.
What it is, yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, he sucks out a soul, and then we see after the sort of break, some like ambulance service is trying to revive her. He thinks she's not going to make a recovery, but she does. She actually comes back to life, but she's sort of in a coma, essentially.
Yeah.
I guess if you're alive without a soul, I don't
know how that medically works. Yeah, I don't know. Like,
yeah,
it seemed like she definitely needs her soul to sort of to get out of a coma.
Yeah.
How does that affect the body in any way? I've got no idea. Like, medically, this is a minefield.
Yeah, we need a priest on this one, not a doctor.
But anyway, the physical body, the heart was beating. It was alive.
Yeah,
that was basically the idea.
Yeah. Brain's still going, but no one's home, essentially.
Yeah.
We then see Wayne go now to visit Betsy. She's quite annoyed, as he's apparently going to see her in 5 minutes, and now he's been all around town looking at his other wife, and sort of he promises that it's all going to be fine, because she'd had she was going to get the scan, and she basically said what had happened with Laura. You know, the baby has like sort of these abnormalities, which she doesn't seem that bothered by, but he's distraught and is sort of, well, you can see what's coming essentially.
Yeah, the same routine again, the glass of milk. And I did like this as well, because you know what, the milk kind of just passed me by.
Yeah.
But then as soon as I saw him warming up that milk, and I was like, oh, of course.
That's what he's doing,
like, I knew he was the one poisoning it, but like I hadn't even put the milk and that together.
Yeah.
But then as soon as you hear it again, you see it again, it's like, oh, here we go, don't drink that.
Yeah.
Actually, it turns out I'll drink it as much as you want.
Yeah, it don't matter. Yeah, so he makes that drink for her and takes it to her. And we'll cover what happens next in a second. In the meantime, we see at the hospital, we see Mulder and Scully are now actually together. Scully's come down, and Mulder's done some digging and has found out that Wayne is actually a Czech immigrant, and his original name was Ivan Velez. And they also find that he's been tried a few times for the murder of his other wives. He's actually a serial... What's the word for it? A serial wifer? I don't know.
I think you just made that up.
Yeah. I quite like it, though. A wifer.
I like it.
Multiple wives, yeah. But yeah, he's sort of been widowed quite a few times, but has always got off the case because there's no evidence. And yeah, this is where Mulder's like, no evidence. Perfect.
Oh yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Like, okay, cool. And that's not the way policing works.
Yeah. You can't really convict on no evidence, so yeah, he needs confession at this point. I've watched enough police programs to know, demon or not, no court's gonna fly with no evidence.
No, exactly.
I did also like here where they point out his name was Ivan Velez, and Velez is actually the name of some Czechoslovakian, or it's some kind of like Slavic demon creature. It's actually I had to look on Wikipedia because there was a link to it from the notes. It's actually a thing. Like before, like Christianity, it was just a god, but now it's a demon.
Oh, okay, interesting.
Yeah, so it's actually can read about it, but there's not too much. Just he has horns and stuff, so I guess that tracks. Anyway, so we see that Mulder is basically at this point thinking that Wayne is a demon, and they actually find all these. They go to, is it Laura's house? I think it is, or yeah, I think it's
yes.
They go to
find a lot of bodies underneath the ground.
Yeah,
I think they do because when you was mentioning about whose house it is, they do mention that it must have been his house because they found like previous bodies from previous babies, so he must have had wives at that house before. Yeah,
exactly. So yeah, they find all these, and this is where Mulder's theory is that he is actually a demon, and that he's just trying to have a normal baby. He's not actually, when they have these sort of demonic sort of horns and stuff like that, he gets rid of them because he just wants a normal baby.
Yeah, this is an answer to like Scully's rightful question of going, well, if he keeps trying to make babies, why does he keep killing babies? Like, it doesn't make any sense. And yeah, so we sort of get the idea now that like he's just after basically a normal life.
Yeah, essentially. Which is again, it's this weird sort of like you can see where his villainy comes from. You know what I mean? He's doing terrible things, but it's kind of because he just is like trying to live a normal life.
But the weird thing is like he's living a normal life. Why can't a demon baby live a normal life?
I don't know the rules of hell.
I'm sorry, Luke. I assumed you'd have the inside track. Sorry.
I need to get some books on the learner. or not, just in case. You never know. But anyway, we cut back to Betsy's house, and we see that Betsy is having a dream that was pretty much like Laura's was, where she sees this demon again in the fire. But instead of sort of panicking too much, she realizes straight away that it's Wayne, even grabbing him by the throat, and then he turns back into his sort of human self. So we see that somewhat else is somewhat different here.
Yeah.
But at this point, it's really hard to suspect why that's the case.
Yeah.
We then cut to see Mulder and Scully driving. I don't know where they're heading, but I think they're heading to Betsy's, aren't they? I think at this point, and they basically come across Betsy driving towards them in Wayne's car, and she's sort of bloody and upset, and she basically sort of making out that she's had the same thing happen to her.
Yeah.
Mulder and Scully carry on to Betsy's house, and they find Wayne in the sort of garden digging. And there's a nice shot here as well, where it's sort of that kind of fog we were talking about in the last episode over like the hills, and they sort of emerge from the fog, pistols out, like pointing at him. I thought that was like quite a nice. If you could imagine that on like a poster or something like that for the X-Files.
Yeah.
Like classic image.
I actually really like this scene. This is where the episode, for me, really sort of gets a lot better. In my personal opinion, just because I like this little twist of he's like digging up, but he's not. They assume that he's like burying the baby. That's what they assume.
Yeah.
He's not. He's basically like atoning for his sins at this point and like admitting to all the babies that he has killed. I mean, how can you atone for that sin? But you get what I'm saying.
Yeah. But yeah, he's digging, and he's. I mean, it's always the way with these kind of episodes where if they just said what they mean right at the beginning, it'd save a lot of headaches. But he's like talking in riddles, and he's like, "Oh no, I'm not actually." He basically is trying to hint at the fact that Betsy's not who she claims she is, and but before he actually gets to what he's meaning to say, he's shot by the deputy out of nowhere, just completely unnecessary. I mean, I understand he's annoyed, thinks that this man's sort of like killed his sister, but this guy's just got a spade. He's not, he's not killing anyone. But yeah, so he shoots him. Wayne's then taken to the hospital, and he's actually put in the bed next to Laura, which the deputy is pissed off about, that they're even like close to one another. But as they leave, Wayne sort of sees this, that Laura's next to him, and I don't know if it's because he's dying or if doing what he does kills him, but he basically gives her back her soul, and in the process he dies.
I'm not sure whether that caused him to die. I'm not too sure about that myself.
Yeah,
but it's definitely a conscious choice that he gives her back her soul. He decides he doesn't want to hurt anybody anymore.
Yeah.
And again, I don't want to like. I feel like we're very sort of sympathetic to this guy, but like he killed her because he was scared of getting found out.
Yeah,
or he took the soul because of that. But he does I think he's now realizing that like his life's goal of trying to get a normal child wasn't worth all of this damage that he's caused.
Basically, yeah. I put not a bad guy for a demon. So
yeah, perfect analogy. Yeah, perfect. Not a bad guy for a demon.
Yeah. On the demon scale, not as that sounds like a PlayStation game. Anyway, Mulder and Scully then basically find all of these. They go back to Betsy's, and they basically find out what he was digging for, and they find all of these babies, these like sort of baby remains anyway, but none of them have got the deformities that the other babies had. So this is where Mulder then realizes that Betsy was actually another demon, and she was only able to have a demon sort of baby with another demon. Quite the leap to go to very quickly, but anyway.
Hey, you got it right.
He did. He was bang on, yeah. So yeah, unlike Wayne, she'd been getting rid of the non-demon babies, which was what Wayne was trying to do. But and this is how she recognised him in the dream, because she's a demon and knew straight away.
Yeah.
Again, don't know the demon rules, so I assume that's correct.
I think that's right. I think a demon always recognises a demon in a dream.
11B of the demon rulebook is. And then in sort of the last scene, we see Betsy driving away in Wayne's car, listening to, I guess, what is his CD, this garbage CD. And we see the baby is there, and it has this like demon-y clawed hand, and she sort of...
This baby is cute as hell.
Little demon baby. Yeah. Wow, I completely missed that then.
If this is what demon babies look like, sign me up. His little chubby, like, scaly arm. Oh, beautiful.
Oh dear, you can't be saying that. But yeah, we sort of see, we see this little like demon baby, and then she sort of has these demon eyes as well as she drives away, and that's it really. That's the end of the episode. That there's this great evil out in the world, I guess, ready to.
Yeah, it was very much a throwback to like season 1 of the X-Files, where like do you remember in season 1 where they never caught the monster?
Anyone?
Like
yeah.
it was always like just about to catch it, and then the last scene would be like, and then it got away, and it would all never be to be seen again. It was very much that.
It happens a lot with the X-Files, doesn't it? Like, they never seem to actually catch or stop any of these, like, great evils in the world.
I don't remember it happening too often recently. It definitely happened, like, every other episode, season 1.
Yeah.
Yeah, very much a throwback, but, yeah, interesting end to it.
Yeah, so that's the end of the episode, so what do you think?
I thought this was fine.
Yeah.
It's one of them. I didn't think it was great. I didn't think it was bad. I thought it was again, you stole it from me, but the Buffy comparison is, I think, really spot on.
Yeah.
In the sense of, it felt like a Buffy episode, and it felt like a Buffy episode that didn't really have any, any, like, stakes or drama attached to it. It was just a monster of the week. Again, very much a throwback to the old X-Files, and you do need these. And we've said, how many times have we said you need these palate cleansers, because you can't just go story.
Yeah.
But yeah, I didn't think it was anything. Would I watch it again on a rewatch? I don't know, probably not. It wouldn't stick out to me.
Yeah, I had similar kind of thoughts. So I thought it was fun. It was like nothing mind blowing. I quite like the plot because I really didn't see there was a second demon involved until right at the end.
Yes.
I was like, so that did surprise me. So I'll give him credit for that. I like some of the cinematography in it, and I just really like seeing Bruce Campbell in another role.
Yeah.
I always think he's fun in things. So yeah, like I said, he played a really subdued role, which is weird for a demon. But yeah, it was
literally a demon that like arrives in flames at the foot of your bed.
Yeah, I was like, oh,
subdued.
pretty subtle from old Campbell there.
Luke's production notes.
Terms of Endearment was written by X-Files executive story editor David Amann, making it his first writing contribution to the series. The concept for Term of Endearment was about the fifth or sixth idea Amann came up with for the show. Amann's original idea was to write what he described as Rosemary's Baby in reverse. He explained, I had this idea for doing this episode not from the point of view of the hapless woman unwittingly impregnated, but from the point of view of the devil. Amann pitched his idea to series creator Chris Carter, who gave him the commission to write the rest of the episode.
I always like stuff like that. I like when people have the ideas of like, oh, let's think of this classic story from a different perspective, which completely changes the story. Do you know what I mean? I always find that those sort of ideas fascinating.
I always think of stuff like like Wicked and stuff like that. You know what I mean? Where it's like told from the point of view of the baddie and stuff like that. It does really flip the narrative on its head, because then you're rooting for the villain of the original and stuff like that. So.
Exactly, yeah, and it always makes for fascinating storytelling because it makes you look at a world differently as well, a world that you already know and are familiar with, and then you see it from a different lens, and they might have different opinions on what you have. Do you know what I mean? So I mean, listeners to the show will know one of my favourite things in media is playing with narrative and playing with especially like the narrator of narrative and of the plot. I love it when people play with that, and so I think that's a really interesting way to use it.
I was just about to say, like, I'm surprised they don't do that with something like with even more like classic villains. And I was like, what about like Darth Vader? And I was like, they did. It's called the prequel trilogy, I guess. It does exist. I was like, oh, kind of okay idea, I guess. Anyway, according to Amann, the initial draft was heavier on pure shock value and lighter on humour and human interest. In this version, the demon was shown to remove a serpent from Laura's womb and not a demon baby. In addition, the story unravelled in a more linear fashion and showed a demon husband going from human wife to human wife, killing them if unsuccessful in delivering a baby. The series regular writer felt that this initial version of the story had a certain inevitability to it. Carter suggested that the second woman should be a demon. Amann later admitted that this addition made the story work well.
Yeah, I think that was my favourite part of it. The whole revelation of her. I enjoyed that.
Yeah, I definitely didn't expect that. You know what I mean? Because to be honest, I expected it to go how the first draft of it was.
Yeah, I think they definitely wanted to give sympathy to him. I think this makes it a lot easier to sympathise with him. The fact that he was screwed out of it, you know what I mean?
Yeah, by someone even more evil, basically.
Yeah. Let's put someone more evil in,
Yeah. Again, the demon scale, she's worse.
Yeah. She would be like a B+ demon.
Yeah. The score for Term of Endearment was composed by series regular Mark Snow, who used Gregorian chants to give the atmosphere a creepy feel.
Interesting.
I've got to be honest, didn't notice any of the score in this.
Oh, I can't say I did either, apart from the car radio.
Yeah, that was it, really. The quote, Zazaz nas tanada Zazaz, supposedly uttered by Laura Weinsider, which is what he uses to convince her that she was in a trance.
Yes, yeah.
Apparently this was what the occultist Aleister Crowley used to open the 10th aether of the Thelamentic demon Choronzon. I feel like I've just played some D&D or something like that.
Maybe you just opened up the portal.
Oh God, no. Sorry, didn't mean to. Just reading notes. Terms of Endearment is not the first occasion that the series drew influence from Crowley. The high school from the episode Die Hand Develettes was named after him as well.
Okay, interesting.
So they like Aleister Crowley in this. In the middle of filming, a cast member withdrew from the production for religious reasons. A mother withdrew a baby from the cast during the final run-through of the cursed birth scene. Although a fan of the show, as a devout Catholic, she was uncomfortable with her child representing a demon. Director Rob Bowman was sympathetic to her concerns, and the casting staff were able to find a replacement baby in less than 45 minutes. It was the first time during... Sorry, the term replacement baby got me then. Give me the replacement baby. I just imagine on set.
Yeah. It's the way that was written as well.
Yeah.
We found one. Like, they just went to the street and went, there's one.
There's a baby. The replacement baby. It was the first time during filming the series that a cast member withdrew for religious reasons.
When I have kids, I hope my kid gets cast as a demon baby.
There you go.
That'd be great.
It is.
We have religious, so I can understand. Like, I can understand some people not enjoying it, but like, I'd be like, that is cool. Imagine being able to say that demon baby. That's fine.
That baby. That's my baby.
It was the replacement baby, but it is still my baby.
Maybe that's what the role that you could be. You could just be like the permanent replacement baby for any kind of like baby casting or anything.
Around outside studios.
Yeah, be like, I've got the replacement baby waiting here.
I've already done the makeup.
I know, yeah. I feel like I've devalued your firstborn child already. Oh, God. Anyway. Bruce Campbell, known for taking lead roles in Sam Raimi horror films such as The Evil Dead, was cast as the episode's antagonist, Wayne Weinsteiner. Campbell had previously worked for the Fox network on his short-lived series, The Adventures of Briscoe County Jr., which began as the lead-in show for The X-Files during the first season. Fox had initially assumed that Briscoe County Jr. was going to be the more successful series, while The X-Files was more unappreciatively referred to as the other drama Fox ordered that spring. Several of the individuals who worked on the failed Briscoe County Jr. series later found a career working on The X-Files, which led to Campbell to call the process a coming-home experience.
Oh, that's nice. I like that.
Yeah.
Never heard of the show.
No, you can definitely tell that history has told that X-Files was the bigger of the TV series that they ordered that season. Campbell first met Duchovny and Addison during the promotional campaigns for both series in 1993. He commented that... this made me laugh when I first read it. He commented that although Duchovny is known for playing a serious role on the show, in real life, he is quite a funny person. I don't think he's that serious, is he? Like, I mean, he's serious, but he's always joking, you know what I mean?
Again, to the later seasons, don't forget season 1, Mulder, it was very serious.
Yeah, I guess so, yeah. He's more, like, sarcastic than, like, comedic,
yeah.
Isn't he? Yeah, I guess. During shooting, Campbell and Duchovny entertained themselves on set by pranking the crew members, eventually stopping when the crew members became upset.
They get replacing the replacement baby.
I wonder what prank was the final straw, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I hear like horror stories of, what's his name, Jared Leto as the Joker.
Yeah, I've heard those stories as well, and that's not a prank.
No.
That's just, you know what I mean?
He was trying to be the Joker by sending people dead rats, and it's like, does the Joker ever send dead rats to people? That's not... Yeah. I've never read a comic where he's like, ha, dead rat.
Yeah, no, exactly. Yeah. What, he was just... If all that's true, that just sounds like the most horrific working environment ever.
I think we had this conversation on someone else, but we're talking like method acting and stuff like that. It kind of gives people a license to just be a dick, doesn't it?
Yeah, a lot of the time. It is,
yeah, a lot of the time. You never like. Don't get me wrong. There are like times where you get like Daniel Day-Lewis who does it like, you know, where he just stays in character. It's not like he's being a dick, but he just stays in character. But yeah, a lot of the time you hear like method actors where it's like. Jim Carrey, like, pretending to be ill. It's like, well, this is not okay.
Not okay. And the weird thing is, you never hear method actors going, oh, I'm going to, like, completely live in this role for 4 years. of a really nice guy. Like, it's always the arseholes that they decide to live in. Do you know what I mean? No, not for me.
What's like a good... Who could you method act who'd be like the nicest guy? Who's the guy who does the painting on, what's it? Do you know, Bob Ross, is it? Then again, there's a documentary about the dark side of Bob Ross recently, so maybe he's not.
This is the thing, like, I immediately thought, and I don't know why, because it's not in our culture, but this is an American science guy.
Bill Nye, is it?
It sounds, I mean, it's Bill Nye the Science Guy, isn't it?
Yeah.
It sounds about right. That sort of person, like, I could see, like, sort of a film about where, but then I don't know whether, I don't know.
IRL, yeah.
That stuff, I don't know.
See, maybe people aren't as nice as they appear on TV. That's the lesson we have to learn.
Yeah.
We all learn things today. Anyway, I'm with the production notes. Although Campbell...
Tom Hanks, there we go.
Tom Hanks. Didn't Tom Hanks do that? Didn't Tom Hanks do, what's his name? Mr. Rogers or something?
He did, yeah.
He seemed like a nice guy.
Yeah, there you go. That's the one.
Or just Tom Hanks, yeah. I can't imagine Tom Hanks was ever being a bad one. You know, really?
Nah, Tom Hanks never. He would never clip this.
Just in case. What was that story when like all these like news stories were coming out about like bad people, and it was like Tom Hanks has been found to be a really nice guy. Oh God. Anyway, although Campbell had a positive opinion of working on the show, he commented that the nature of the show did not allow for much improvisation, describing the production as a well-oiled machine. I feel like as a guest star, probably going to be the case. You know what I mean? I imagine David Duchovny probably gets, and like Gillian Anderson get like free license to sort of go off the beaten path. But yeah,
it doesn't. To be honest, though, it doesn't strike me as that type of show.
No.
It strikes me as a very well written and sort of by the book type of show where I think all the sort of input would probably come in before filming, like in the writing stage. And of course, like that doesn't account for like one-off lines that maybe they throw in there. But yeah, it just doesn't strike me as that type of show.
No. There's one note that I took down from the filming location. The principal outdoor filming of Terms of Endearment took place around Pasadena in LA County, California. So I just imagine that Duchovny was well happy about filming this one. Like we were back. Several of the special effects used in the episode were created in a low-stress manner that did not rely wholly on CGI. During the childbirth scene, gas burners were set a long distance from a fireproof bed. The scene was then filmed with a long lens to give the effect that the fire was mere inches away from the bed. Producer John Shaban said that the crew made a big deal out of the eyes to make the scene frightening. I thought that looked cool, like I said, with the fire in the background, so... not much more to say there.
I thought it was effective. It was very sort of cheesy, but still effective. I thought it did what it needed to do.
Yeah. The Devil Sonogram was created using a video tape of a real sonogram, and then was edited to look like a demon. And finally, this one blew my mind that this is even a possibility. So the burnt baby skeleton was built from scratch. Originally, the crew had planned on renting a real fetal skeleton.
Jesus
you
Christ!
You can do that? I didn't know.
God.
But apparently the only reason that stopped them was that the $3,000 cost forced them to make their own. So it was just too expensive, not the moral implications. That's mad. I understand, like...
Yeah, you have to get a replacement.
Replacement fetal skeleton. Oh, God.
We found one in 45 minutes.
I know, yeah. I also like the Burnt Baby Skeleton, which sounds like the most like hardcore band name. Office manager Donovan Brown noted that we got 2 or 3 of those adult skeleton models, cut a foot off, so off a leg here, and shortened an arm there. Glued them together to a plaster model of a fetal skull we found, and put together something that worked wonderfully. So there we go. That's the production notes on this, demonic episode, I guess.
It stinks.
Welcome to the
Critic's Files.
I would say I'm going to give this one, I'm going to give it a 6. I think that's fair. It was above average.
Yeah. No, I see that.
That's a good score, I think.
I think for what it is, the 6 is fine. I give it a 7. This is like the classic 7 episode. It's fun. It's good. It's nothing that like you're going to tell everyone to watch this one specifically, unless you wanted to just show them. Oh, look, there's Bruce Campbell. You know what I mean? That's literally the only hook I can think for this. IMDb with 2,997 votes gave it a 7.9, so a bit higher than what we thought, but around that sort of 7 range. So not too high. And that's everything from this week. So is there anything else you need to mention before we finish off?
No, I think we'll be back to recording in person next week.
Yes,
because we've already organised and arranged when we're going to be doing that. Not really.
Yeah. Well, if you want to get in touch with the show, you can tweet us, you can Facebook us, you can email us. All of the links to our contacts are below in the podcast notes. Next week we will be tackling an episode called The Rain King. So I imagine it's it's Rain Man, but he's now royalty.
Is that what you think?
That's what I think. Yeah.
What a weird idea for an episode.
To be fair, after what we've just seen, could be anything.
I'm going to be disappointed if it's not that now.
I know, yeah.
I just think it's going to get Dustin back.
Yeah, I thought you called him Dustbin then.
I called him Dustman.
Dustman.
I combined both of his names. just like time. We're coming to the end. We're wrapping up. I knew I had a limited amount of time.
Yeah.
Do you reckon Dustman's coming back?
I reckon the Dustman is back, yeah.
What about Tombs?
You beat me to it. Tombs. So anyway, we'll leave it there. We hope you enjoyed this episode, and we will speak to you all next week. Anyway, that's enough about our lives. Let's find out about the life of a demon. Oh, shit. My fist is made of ham.
That's the best hard cut ever.